Yes. In the last lecture, we were discussing about that various examples which used by Mulkraj Anand about giving the importance of English, right? And therefore, in the last paragraph, he presented one very different example, and actually it is from Indian polity. It is from or related to Indian politician, right? So he used about that uh, impetuous populist leaders. He presented one example, and it is for Indian politics, and that is impetuous populist leaders, right? Please everyone mute yourself. And obviously this example is belong to one of the biggest states in India, and that is Uttar Pradesh. Mulkraj Anand is talking about the Mulayam Singh Yadav, the most popular leader in Uttar Pradesh, and he presented one example with the use of majority, the majority of MLAs, okay, with the use of majority, such impetuous means, as I already told you, impetuous means utavid, what we called in Marathi, right? Utavid. He used to say such or some impetuous populist leaders like Mulayam Singh Yadav are there, and because of such leaders we have the different type of scenario related to language of English, because such people, they are not at all interested to take such types of languages in a healthy way or in a positive way. They used or they intermingling the cultural things, the linguistic things with the politics, and that's the problem. According to Mulkraj Anand, he presented that example that Mulkraj Anand or Mulayam Singh Yadav is the one who passed that unfortunate law. Why that law is unfortunate?
Yes.
Because that law is unfortunate because instead of that law or with the use of that law, they restrict this language or they restrict the use of English, right? Adinath Dhotre, please mute yourself. And that's the last warning, okay? Yes. Because of passing that law to abolish the use of English in all the government offices and education, and that's the bad thing, we can say. How can we restrict or how can we abolish a particular language from our day-to-day life, from our education, from the government works? And that's the problem. Because of such things we have lot of problems, right? Such type of tendencies, such type of mindset we should not carry in our nation, right? Then in the very next paragraph we have to start with the next paragraph. Listen carefully. It is not known to most political chauvinists that the novel form or the novel form of instance, for instance, in most of the bhashas came from the impact of English fiction. Actually, here Mulkraj Anand used to present various examples, and the examples related to various languages and how various languages and various works from that languages affect, we can say, or impact in a positive way to our regional literature, to our regional languages. Just take the example. For though we were the world's first tellers of tales like the Zataka moral stories of the Buddhist. Here he presented one example. According to Mulkraj Anand, we are the world's first storyteller. Okay, telling the story is not the easy thing. Listen carefully. Telling a particular story, short story, in a particular manner is not an easy thing. And you know what? Especially the African and Asian continents are closely associated with telling the stories, right? Before the independence or before the 1,000 years, we have literature, but not in the form of written literature. It is in the form of oral literature. Oral literature means what? Oral literature means orature, what we called orature. Orature means what? Suppose your grandmother or your grandfather used to tell you a story, okay? And most of the stories belongs to mythology, or most of the regional or religious stories, they are mostly belonging to the mythology. Mythology means what? Or myth means what? Dantakatha, right? Dantakatha, that is called mythology or mythology. That is belongs to our ancient cultures, okay? So such type of literature called orature or called oral literature. And according to Mulk Rajanand, we have the tales of Jataka. Exact word he used, Jatak stories. Everyone can understand with this word, Jatak Katha, right? We have some Jatak stories or some Jatak Kathas, and that is closely associated with Lord Buddha. That is closely associated with Buddhist culture, okay? And according to him, we have that stories. What about the next example? The Brihat Katha and the Somadeva's Katha, Sarita Sagar. These are our tradition. These are our culture. These are the roots of our literature, we can say, right? So we have such type of various kathas, and that belongs to, there were no novels written in India except Dandin's 10 Princes in the 8th century. According to Mulk Rajanand, we have no novels in the 18th or before the 10th century. We have the only novel, and that is belongs to Dandins, and the name of that novel is 10 Princes. But apart from that, we have stories, we have the oral literatures, okay? We don't have such type of written literatures. We don't have a particular form of literature, okay? So that's the thing. Bankim Chand Chatterjee was influenced by his readings of Walter Scott novels. Now, these are the examples presented by Mulk Raj Anand, how our great writers, how our Indian great philosophers, thinkers, writers, social reformers, they are motivated from the literature which based on European continents. They are very much what we called motivated from the various philosophers. They belongs to the other continents, right? Let's take one example. Bankim Chatterjee. Okay, Bankim Chatterjee was influenced by his readings of Walter Scott's. As we know, Walter Scott is one of the finest writer. Okay, Walter Scott and his writings are very much famous in the form of literature. Okay, his Walter Scott's poetries, his what we call prose works, his novels are very much famous. And our great writer Bankim Chatterjee used to read his novels, his literature, and because of his literature, he influenced a lot. That's the thing I want to tell you. Okay, then we have one another example, and that is more important. Okay, before that, can I ask you a simple question? If anyone uh, able to give the answer of that question, you are free to write your answer on the chat box. Okay, you can give the answer on the chat box. And my question is, who is the first Indian who got Nobel Prize of Literature? I am talking about literature, not about economics, not about peace. I am talking about literature. Who is the first Nobel laureate who got the Nobel Prize in literature? If anyone able to give the answer, please put your answer on the chat box. Anyone? Hmm? Yes, obviously, he is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore got the first Nobel Prize in India. and that Nobel Prize is related to literature. As a student of graduation, you should understand such things. One another question related to that thing, can you tell me Nobel Prize or that committee which belongs to which it belongs to how many categories, or how many categories are there where they awarded the Nobel Prize? Actually 6 categories are there, okay, and among that 6 categories literature is one of them. We have literature, Nobel Prize of literature, then we have Nobel Prize in medicine, okay, then we have Nobel Prize in economics, peace, shantata, right? We have Nobel Prize in physics, chemistry, right? Such types of categories are there. And our first Nobel laureate, Rabindranath Tagore, got Nobel Prize in literature. And for what he got Nobel Prize? It's one of the best poetry collection. And what was the name of that poetry collection? Gitanjali. Okay, Gitanjali is the poetry collection by Rabindranath Tagore, published in 1913, 1913, and because of that poetry collection he got Nobel Prize, right? So this is the general information related to Nobel Prize. Here is one example of this Nobel laureate. Rabindranath Tagore confessed he had read Wilkie Collins, another what we call literary person, another philosopher, another poet, and belongs to the European continents, like that Walter Scott. Wilkie Collins, Woman in White, though he outgraced popular English fiction in the Bengali novels Gora, Noka Dubi, Ghere Bairi, Den, Dui Bone, and his later fiction. Here are presented some examples. We know Rabindranath Tagore is closely associated or influenced with Wilkie Collins. It is the name of one another person and his poetries. Basically he's one of the famous work, Woman in White. That is the famous work by Wilkie Collins, and our Rabindranath Tagore influenced by that work. Okay, and what will happen later? His Bengali fiction, as we know, Rabindranath Tagore belongs to West Bengal, and his Bengali fiction called Gora. One another fiction is there, Nauka Dubi, and etc. Such type of fictions are closely associated or influenced with that Wilkie Collins White in Woman. Okay, let's take one another example, and one another example from Hindi literature. Okay, those who belongs to or those who have that Hindi language, they can easily understand the importance of Premchand, Munshi Premchand, one of the finest writer in Hindi language, belongs to our soil. Premchand said he read Tolstoy. First, we have the example of Walter Scott. Then we have means Bankim Chatterjee influenced by Walter Scott, Rabindranath Tagore influenced by Wilkie Collins and his Woman in White. Then we have Munshi Premchand, and he influenced by Tolstoy. Okay, Tolstoy is also one of the finest philosopher in the world literature, and especially Tolstoy's work. You know what? Which is the famous work by Tolstoy? War and Peace. War and Peace is the famous work by Tolstoy. But his another work, Resurrection. Resurrection is his another work, and our Premchand influenced by that work, Resurrection, in English before writing his novels, right? Before writing his novels, he influenced by that work, Tolstoy's work. So these are the examples which presented by Mulk Raj Anand because of showing the importance of English language in our Indian continents or in our Indian English literature. Okay, let's move to another paragraph. Novelists in Indian English knew the fiction of their contemporaries. Contemporaries means what? Contemporaries. I think in the last lecture, we discussed about this word. Contemporaries means in Marathi, Samakalin or Sadhyakalin. Okay, Samakalin. For example, just take the example that Mr. M.K. Gandhi and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they are contemporaries. Means their works belongs to the same era. Their works belongs to the same decades. That is called contemporary. Okay. Novelists in Indian English knew the fiction of their contemporaries of the 20th and 13th 30s, sorry, 20s and 30s. I had read Gorky. Gorky, one of the famous Russian novelist. And what is his full name? Maxim Gorky. Now, most of the student thought, uh, why these names are important? Are these names are important or not? You know what? Though you belongs to science field, commerce field, arts field, or whatever, you should know these basic names of the world literature. Without having the correct information or having the correct or thorough knowledge of these people, you are not able to understand the world relationship. Okay, you know what, there is lots of pain or there is lots of what we call intense in Russian literature, and at least you should know the basic names of that literature. And one of that names we have Maxim Gorky. His world famous book, Maxim Gorky's world famous book named Mother. Mother is the name of his book, which published in 1901, 1902, 1 or 2. Okay, so these are the books which changed the scenario of the world literature, and you should focus or you should know these things. Okay, very well. Let's talk about yes, novelists in Indian English knew the fiction of their contemporaries, obviously, of 20th or 20s and 30s. Means when peoples like Maxim Gorky, when people like T.S. Eliot, when people like D.H. Lawrence, they used to write their themes, their what we call piece of literature. At the same time, what happened in India, our social reformer, our writers are used to write about independence, because in the 20th and 13th decades till we are not independent. Okay, we have under the British colonialism. So that's the difference between European continents and especially our country, India, right? I had read Gorky in jail. Okay, Gorky in jail, and even before going to the United Kingdoms, I had read William Makepeace Thackeray, Charles Dickens, and Thomas Hardy. Okay, these are the examples presented by Mulk Raj Anand. He used to say, though I am in jail because of that movement, because of that freedom movement and various activities taken place in that movement, but he deliberately used to say, though I am in jail, but I had read Maxim Gorky and his important books, Charles Dickens and his important books, Thomas Hardy's. These are the finest name in the world literature. Okay, you know what, if you are the eager student, if you are the student with lots of enthusiasm and curiosity, you should do one thing. And what you should, after this lecture, you have to search these names on Google. At least you have to search. Okay, at least you have to search these names on Google. And what will happen, you are able to get more information about these people. Okay, then only you can get more information. Okay, what is the next example? R.K. Narayan, as I already told you, those students who are new or those students they have the first lecture. Let's move or let's see their screen. Let's move to the first, yes, the first slide. Please see carefully the three person. The first one is Mulk Raj Anand, Raja Rao, and R.K. Narayan. And who is them? They are simply, this line is important. Among the trio of Indo-Anglican writings, this line is important. Okay, so they are trio in Indian English literature. Okay, yes. So these three names are important because they are the trio. Okay, and R.K. Narayan is one among them. That's the most important thing. Then also we have another example related to R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan was doubtless familiar. Why he is doubtless familiar? Why they called he is the doubtless familiar? Because with Jane Austen, another important writer, okay, with Jane Austen, uh, please give me a minute. Mm, I think there is a problem, network problem. Are you able to listen? Please, anyone tell me.
Yes,
सर
sir.
आवाज येत नाही.
Now you are able to listen me.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Yes. Okay. I think there is network problem. Therefore, I checked my smartphone. Okay. Yes. R.K. Narayan was doubtless familiar with Jane Austen, E.M. Foster, and Graham Greene. So these another three names are important. Okay. The first name is Jane Austen, one of the important lady writer, especially female writer. His so many works are famous. For example, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, such types of work important. Then we have another example of E.M. Foster. E.M. Foster have close association with Indian literature. Okay. Then we have Graham Greene. These types of writers are closely associated with our R.K. Narayan. Means they are contemporaries and they discussed a lot about the literature. Okay. Then Raja Rao, another example. Okay. The first example, obviously Mulk Raj Anand. Then we have R.K. Narayan, their associations, and now we have Raja Rao. Raja Rao knew the French novelist and contemporary English writers like D.H. Lawrence and Aldous Huxley. Raja Rao is also associated or close to the contemporary French writers. And who are they, or what was the name of that French writers? D.H. Lawrence and Aldous Huxley. These writers are also important. Okay, so these are the association with our writers to the European continent and their writers. Okay, as many members of the political leadership in the state did not have the opportunity of education in humanities and do not see that they will depriving the new generation or the new young generation of the growing world knowledge and advanced technology of communication for development work, our country may be left far behind the West in production of goods and trade relations unless our students have access to factual knowledge which is available in English only. This paragraph is also important. What Mulk Raj Anand used to present the concept here, according to him, most of the participants or most of the members, belongs to the political parties or the political leaderships, they are not have opportunity in their life to studies in the literature, to studies in the humanities, okay, means in the social sciences and languages. And therefore what will happen, they are depriving the next generation also from getting the knowledge, the thorough knowledge of the various fields. They are not what we call ready to accept the new concept or to accept the new uh, educational reform or revolution in the present era. One another thing is there, according to Mulkraj Anand, our country may be left far behind the West in production of goods and trades relationship. And that's the reality. We are not here to criticizing our things. We are here to presenting the reality. And what was the reality? The reality is closely associated with what? The reality is, till today we are not the developed country, or we are not the not in the group of developed country. Till today we are in the group of developing country, what we call the Vikasanasil, right? Not Vikasit. We are till today we are developing country. And why? Because of don't having the correct opportunity of trading the goods and our manufacturer or our manufacturing. And that's the problem. And why such types of problem we faced from the history? Because of not accepting or not expecting or accepting the culture of, or not exactly the culture, the language of the European continents. Let's take the example. If you are always in the mood of hating such European languages, how or how can you trade or how can you make your business with such countries, right? What about import and export? That's the another issue. And such types of issue we cannot connect with our local intentions, with our emotions, with our feelings, right? Our emotions and feelings are the different part, and import export and what we call increasing the economy, that's the another part, right? So that's the problem. And therefore we are so behind from the West countries, right, for the sake of goods and production. Unless our students have access to factual knowledge which is only available in English. And what will happen because of this situation? Because of this situation, our students, our intellectual people are not able to get the exact and thorough knowledge, which they exact use the word factual knowledge. Factual means what? Factual. Let's see your on your screen. Maybe you have to zoom it. The last word, factual knowledge. Factual knowledge means what? The knowledge which based on fact. And fact means what? Fact means truth, right? Fact, right? We always used to say our science is based on fact, fact, right? And most of the time various another subjects, they are based on what we call assumptions, various things of past events. But science, technology, they based on fact, okay? So we are depriving our students, our people from the factual knowledge based on various fields, okay? Now we move to the last paragraph of this essay. As we so far have English teaching in most schools and colleges, let us not ban it out of misplaced national chauvinism. In the last paragraph, Mulkraj Anand used to present his eyesight. From this paragraph, he present or he is little bit optimistic. He was optimistic about what? About the using of these languages in our India, in our educational policies. What he used to say, as we so far have English teachings in the most schools and colleges, let us not ban it out of misplaced national chauvinism. According to him, we should not ban him, okay? We should not ban such types of languages. Why should not we ban such types of languages? Because the factual knowledge, because of we should not deprive our generation from the factual knowledges. Then uh, at the same time we must set up large commissions of translators at the center and in the state for rendering. In the I think in the Monday's lecture we thoroughly discussed about such types of commissions. I think we had the example of Russia and China. They have established or formed lots of commissions, lots of committees, lots of bodies. Why? Because of translating the another literature from their languages. And what is the intention behind that? Anyone should not deprived from the factual knowledge which based on what, which based on truth, which based on fact. So we as a country, we should establish such types of commissions, and such types of commissions have their work to translating the another literature or the literature which in another languages into our languages. Okay, so that's the work of such types of commissions, and it is the work of state and center also, means state governments and central governments also. Then to beginning with at least elementary books of knowledge until we train translators to handle books of more advanced learning. And because of such types of commission, our teachers are able to train, or our teachers are able to get the exact idea how to teach a particular part in a such types of languages. You know what, I already told you in the very first lecture, I am not talking you about only taking the interest in my subject. If you are interested in economics, no problem. If you are interested in physics, no problem. But at least you have to get little bit mastery on this language, then only you are able to teach your economics, sociology, polity, microbiology in English. That's the issue. Okay, you have to teach your subject in English. That's my concern. That's the issue. Okay, so this is the last line from this essay, that we train translators to handle books of more advanced learning. More advanced learnings, that's the last line. Okay, so this is all about the first chapter or the first essay which prescribed in your syllabus by Bulk Raj Anand. What is the importance of English, or that's the importance of English. Okay, so it is all about this essay. From the very next lecture we will start with poetry, one another poetry. Okay, so I think that's enough for today's lecture. If you have any question, you can ask. And after, within a minute, the session will close automatically. Okay, we have time limit. So if you have any question, you can ask. Be free. And I expect more attendance. Today, hardly 27 participants are there. It is really poor thing. I expect more attendance, more participants.